versus FlyQuest that has gone 1-1. We're going the distance here. 6-game stream. It's beautiful. And speaking of things that are beautiful, High, player of the game from the last one. Certainly it was a team effort. I think everyone had their own contributions here in this one, but High, we decided to give the nod to. The solo kill at level 4 was pretty nice, and he had a game-winning 2-man shockwave in there as well. A game-winning Baron secure shockwave to get Smithy out of the pit. I think a lot of good plays out of him.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-man shockwave by Baron prior to that was huge. He also just had so much pressure around the map. You know, almost solo took down the turret mid lane. You know, despite his scoreline not being completely amazing. You know, I think the amount of pressure he created and the impact that his plays had in the game was really what kind of clinched it.
Yeah, so he was a very good player here. So now we're going to go for game 3 on this one, and Immortals going the distance here. FlyQuest actually finally picking up one for themselves, and it has been a story for me of FlyQuest of like they've been almost good enough, right? Despite the fact that they were 0-5 in games up until that last one right there, almost all of them were winnable. They were winnable. They could have done it. They had leads, and they never quite had the clean execution at the end of the day. This one finally was, where they kept control once they had it, and there were no major fumbles to drop that one out. And if FlyQuest looks like that, then they look like that 4th place team they were last split. Immortals, meanwhile, ups and downs a little bit. Flame never really got going. They never quite found the engage they wanted to, and it wasn't quite clicking for them this game.
Yeah, definitely not. In both games, it's been a lot about the cannon, right? For these teams, being able to have side lane advantage. And interested to see if it's actually going to make it through the draft again. You know, if FlyQuest thinks that it was the problem in game 1, they may have to spend their 3rd ban on it.
We'll see if it comes through right here. First pick, and not going to be allowed the cannon. You are right. You are right. It means that Zach is up, though, for Xfinity if he wants it. That can be a trade with Elise as the General King and Queen of the Jungle right now. And you're happy to trade one back for the other. Maybe they go something else first pick, but almost everyone says you should go Zach.
I mean, you may be happy to trade it a little bit, but most teams are not willing to give up Zach, period. Like,
I agree.
Elise does get through sometimes as that first pick type champion, but Zach almost never gets through. And FlyQuest is just saying it's been more of a problem around top lane. So triple ban on top lane, another ban, you know, from Immortals up there as well. So those champion pools are definitely going to be pinched. But Zach, not only does he have pretty strong early ganking, his scaling is actually so good. So this guy has so many options. You can just power farm, you can gank early, you can be a monster late. You really have all the options, and that's why I think he's by far the strongest jungler right now.
Absolutely the case right here. So Greg is picked up as a flex. We'll see what comes on alongside it. Elimination or Gate, it'd be a 3rd pick that he could go for with the support role, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving to make the lock-in, actually going for Graves, so he seems to consider that Graves is the counterpick to the Zac. Of course, you can pretty easily dodge elastic slingshot damage. There's some matchup counterpicks here as well, and also, as Zac, you tend to want to buy a Visage, so physical damage jungler kind of fits, but without that many jungle bans, as Graves is the one for me, specifically with Elise up, which has been so highly prized otherwise.
And you would think that in a straight-up 1v1, if the Graves can dodge the skill shots, then yes, you should be able to win that, but that being said, if Zach is able to land that elastic slingshot, you get taken down so fast, and even when he misses it, oftentimes just hits a Q and slaps the 2 people together. Like, the CC alone is so strong, and he has so many opportunities to make that work. His clear speed is very fast for a tank jungler because he has so much AoE. His Q helps him out in the jungle there too. So this is a guy that can make so many things happen, and even if he can't match up 1v1 against the Graves early, it's not really going to matter.
And Immortals think that getting Bard is going to move the needle a little bit. Of course, we'd expect to see Bard and Thresh bans in the 2nd phase for FlyQuest. They're trademark champions for Ole at this point, and they said, you know what, let's get this real quick. Anyone else can take the bans.
And Ole has been so good on the playmaker, so I think this is a big pick for Immortals. Now they have incredible initiation. You can very easily hit that Bard ultimate. If you hit a Bard ult, that's a free follow-up from Zach. You can charge with the elastic slingshot, come in right on time, pull them out of that. So they have a lot of long-range ways to engage. That being said, the bot lane could be focused a little bit because FlyQuest does have the first pick out of the 2nd ban phase. So if you want to throw a couple AD bans, try to leave one kind of dominant one up, you grab that up and maybe get an edge there.
And we'll see what Turtle wants to go for. They've grabbed both supports in this point unless Zyra flexes mid, which is incredibly unlikely. So mid laners and bot lane carries left up on the table. 2 of the long-range marksmen are gone. Ashe and Varus off the table. We'll see what it ends up being. There is a decent magic damage profile. I wonder if they go back for the Ziggs talent. I don't think it fits the comp, but who knows? FlyQuest has crazy things. Syndra off the table. Orianna's still there for High. Maybe gets first picked up. And the Syndra band would point you towards it.
I also think that with that Ziggs talent, they are kind of pigeonholing themselves into having to make these flanks make those things like the team fights that they weren't really able to pull off previously happen, which can be very tough. And I think FlyQuest has done somewhat of a good job. Wow, I'm actually really surprised they're leaving their AD to last. That's actually super surprising to me that you ban out the AD, twos come in from your opponents. Xayah could get taken away, but perhaps they feel like they have the answer to it with something else. Maybe they're comfortable running something like the Twitch. You can obviously run Lucian. There's so many ADs that are relatively meta right now that it's not always the biggest deal.
Absolutely. A lot of the safe ones are gone, though. Caitlyn, Varus, Ashe, all gone. Means you have to sometimes go down. That's true. We just don't see a lot of him, but you are right. There's certainly options available, and they say, you know what, we'd rather go for the Orianna here, make sure Hai can get something comfortable on him. Immortals to round out their composition. They don't exactly have great peel for a Kog'Maw. This does not feel like a good Kog or Twitch comp, but who knows? Immortals certainly know their players better than I know them.
And while it would be a little bit scary, there's not a lot of dive just yet. The big threat is the Gragas, right? And if you can avoid that Gragas, knocking you in, Graves could have trouble really getting in range and finishing you off. Perhaps some of these guys can't actually make it happen, but that is a big ask, right? This is not really a heavily peeling comp. One thing to be said, though, is sometimes you can see compositions like this, and you're like, well, it's going to be very hard if they get dove on, but you want to be initiating as Immortals comp, right? So if Zac is diving in, Renekton's diving in, Ahri is diving in, the Bard is throwing his ultimate, it's hard to actually mount that offensive and have FlyQuest reach the back line, right? So that can sometimes be the protection that the Kog'Maw needs.
And it's going to look like FlyQuest going to try to play aggressive themselves. The Jhin comes through, more crowd control in for Wild Turtle in the bot lane. Looking to maybe go a bit forward motion. Won't really have backline reach, but he can start the fights out, and we'll see what happens. I actually feel like Ziggs could have worked in this comp. You just pile on the long-range CC, the Graves, Gragas, even the Zyra does all press R in a big cluster team fight, and the Ziggs bomb can close it out, but they're going to go for frontline CC, the Jhin to help start out fights, and we'll see what they can make happen here on this one. And Graves has been pretty knocked down after the most recent nerfs. Basically, his base damages are down quite a bit, but he's got higher scalings, and many junglers have shied away, but some still happy to play the champion, much like the Rengar, to be honest, and Moon seems to feel comfortable doing this, and we'll see what comes through as the lineups have been locked in, and we'll see just how well Immortals and FlyQuest can pile out their comps.
And one of the things about Graves that I think is almost always going to keep him as a somewhat relevant pick in competitive is just his clear. How healthy the clear is. As long as he maintains that identity, being able to move around the map on the Graves is so valuable, and competitive teams value the options that it creates for you, whether it's counter jungling or warding up or power farming. There's so many different ways that Graves can go that other junglers cannot, because they simply have to base. They run out of health, and Graves can full clear at full health.
Yes, he absolutely can. So we'll see what comes through on this one. We are ready to go for Game 3, the climactic game of this match. Will Immortals improve to 3-1, or can FlyQuest finally get a match win on the board? The defending 4th place team put in Wild Turtle in the bot lane and hoping to climb up the standing. It's been a very tumultuous split so far in the North American LCS. Very few results went to expectations, and here we are playing this one.
Definitely going to be an exciting one. So much could come down, to the jungle matchup. Like who is going to really be able to be more effective? Because Smithy, he has a Zac, but sometimes the funny thing about the super OP champions is that players are not as practiced on them because they don't expect to actually get to play them. So while you may play a couple of games on it and be like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable, if you have not played a lot of Zac, like, it is one of those champions that is somewhat different from others and how it works and how to optimize your clears and these sorts of things. And when you call back to last year, when Rengar was perma-banned against every team except CLG, people actually left it up against Smithy because they would have to take it, essentially, and Smithy did not ever really do well on Rengar. Even when it was super overpowered, it was considered 100% pick ban. So now Smithy has another super, kind of overpowered jungler, and we're going to find out how good is he at it.
Right, and the question can come down to, was it Xmithy being a bad player? Was he out of practice with the champion? This has certainly been a better split for Xmithy as a player than the spring split on CLG, and we'll see just how it looks for him. See if he can land the spells.
And the funny thing about it is it's actually, oh god.
Yeah, that's a big chunk.
A lot of damage. And this is not a time where he can base. He actually lost 3/4 of his health there and will have to lane from that point.
We get a chunk back into Ole at the very least, and we get ourselves into the game. Big stun once again, elimination. Nicely done by Ole, but still being traded back upon. Doran's shield comes in for Cody's son. Not the case right here for the Wild Turtle combo. And he's going to just be dealing with the basic regen of health potions right here. Shouldn't be taking too much poke. Like, Cog can do some, but you're not supposed to get chunked that hard by Bard more often than not.
Yeah.
Elimination should have control over the lane.
And COG is so much about windows of power. You know, when your W is active, you are extremely strong. When it is not, you are very, very weak in lane. So you have to play around that, both as the Cogma and as the opponent. As soon as that goes down, that's kind of your window of opportunity to attack.
The case, and nicely done by Ole, though. Speaking of windows of power himself, he's attacking when the reloads are coming in. And for Wild Turtle, they have all got their own little situations. Elimination not as good when his plants are down. And fun seeing them play around each other.
And Moon was actually looking to threaten a level 2 gank bot. And I'm not really sure what happened with his clear, because he has now done... okay, so it looks like maybe he stole away his opponent's red. Yeah, he did. He went red to blue, I guess, and took away the opponent's camp there.
Yeah,
and he was thinking about perhaps going down below bot lane, but thought better of it as they were playing pretty far back. So nice start for Moon. Is going to be able to 3-buff, and you know, you talked about the kind of head-to-head dueling power in the early game. If you can dodge those skill shots, you will win out on that. So Moon is able to utilize that to really kind of put the pressure on his opponent.
Smithy sees that my red buff is indeed gone and goes, okay, well, I'll take the Krugs at the very least, and we'll see how many camps get completed. Smithy basically is going to have 5 camps since there's 6 in your initial jungle, and he got all but 1 of them, and right now Moon has taken 4 so far, and still has the rights to the last few. Should be a decent spot for him to be in, and bot lane now pushed in. Cody's going to have a hard time lessening some of these because they have awkward health bar values, and you can see missing all of the melees right here. The ranged one's going to be okay.
And
some of them.
To be fair, a lot of that comes down to your support. Your support needs to be prepping minions for you, and Ole has actually not prepped a single minion properly so far. Yep. He actually didn't prep a single one of those minions for his AD, which means he misses every single one of those. So definitely, I think Ole has been playing great this year, but that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 31 possible minions available at this point in the wave, and very few of them are actually picked up there by Immortals as the rest of this one.
He's going to miss that too.
No, he's got these 2. All right, Sickness, 18 to 25 in CS right there. As the 6th wave comes through into the minion line. There we go, a nice little trade right there as we're seeing Flame get the early push against Balls. He does have a small farm lead as a result, but it's not too far apart. Moon going to try to steal away what he can, and it's going to go mostly over to this one. I didn't actually see who got the smite.
Smithy got everything. He got like every little one, it looked like, except maybe one, and he got the big raptor with his smite. Moon didn't even use his smite there, so that was actually a really nice combo from Smithy. He uses Q to slap the big raptor and a little one together. At the same time, he W'd and smited. So really the 3 ability combo there was able to land that pretty well.
Stand by Smithy now looking for some action into the mid lane. Finds High, doesn't get the knockup, but he's going to get the Q into the pull together. Nice little chunk right there. Both are no charm to be had, but still good damage trade. Minions blocked from the skill shot possibilities.
And one of the reasons I like this gank for Smithy is that no camps were actually up for him. And the Gromp respawns while he's doing this, but there's very little cost to that. So he's able to go out, get a little bit of damage done. And it's not like the case in one of the earlier games where he showed top as his bot side jungle was still up and it got stolen away. So there's not much that Moon could actually do to capitalize on that move.
Absolutely the case. So triple thorns, we're going to cloth armors pick up here for Balls. He's made the first TP into lane. Again, the minions still down 11 or maybe down 5 based on how this wave looks at the end of it all. We're looking for a chase on the elimination, getting the root, getting the plants down. Nice little chunk of damage, not too bad for him. Oh, they want some chimes though. And back he goes to the landing phase. 10 minion deficit still though for Cody's son. Looks like the first recall comes through for Turtle with pickaxe and a longsword. So that looks like he's actually going for Death Dance Rush in his Jhin.
Yeah, Death Dance Rush is actually becoming very popular for Jhin. It does make you extremely hard to kind of push out of these fights, push out of the lanes sometimes. Looks like we are going to go into a pause here, which hopefully that'll be figured out pretty quickly. But Death Dance Jhin, that rush has been relatively common. I've even been seeing some games where people are worried about the dive, and this may be one of them, you know, with Ari and Renekton and Zac, where people are actually going Death Dance, PD, Tabbies, like QSS, like they're essentially stacking like all the pseudo-defensive AD carry items. And this can make it so hard to actually dive onto the Jhin. Obviously, you're going to be putting out a lot lower damage than someone who does like an IE rush or something. But if you feel like you have enough damage coming out of the team, and this may be one of those cases with Orianna very high DPS, Graves very high DPS, Zyra very high DPS, you can sometimes afford to do that and play more of that kind of utility role while still putting out a respectable amount of damage if you're ignored.
Looks like High feeling a little bit sick, coughing fit for him, but looks like we'll be okay. Just kind of recollecting himself, we should be good to go pretty soon enough. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. That is interesting, though. You mentioned the pseudo-tanky Jhin build, and of all games to go pseudo-tanky, this doesn't feel like one where you'd want to because you are literally the farthest range champion on your team. I don't feel like you should need it, generally speaking, because certainly Death Stance is going to give you less total damage than, say, a Youmuu's Ghost Player and the lethality builds.
Yeah.
Per goal, that is a lower damage thing. That might still be okay. Maybe he really does get dove, but...
And it's possible that he may still just be using that pickaxe to go towards an IE and picking up the longsword as an eventual vamp or something like that. So, there is a possibility of that. We'll obviously find out in due time, but I wouldn't be surprised by the Death Dance rush. And while he is going to be very far back, Zac and Renekton with a flank and Ahri diving in, these are champions that do have a lot of reach. And Ole on the Bard is going to be looking to try to pick off that Jhin, very likely with his ultimates.
Here comes the first recall in, the first TV back in for Flame. Looks like for a repeat gank on the high. They're going to get him to flash away from the Q. Shockwave in. Buys a bit of damage, and here comes Moon for the rest of this one. They can almost get him to pop the passive, but not quite in range yet. There's a flash for the Q, and he was charmed, so he couldn't ult to pop him. And the flash for Smithy would have put the Bloblets far enough away anyway. And of course, Moon's not 6. There's no ult to be had regardless. That's my mistake. Either way, though, the escape was at and Poelter with the charm gets him out.
Still, I'd say a pretty good gank for Immortals in the end of it is the passive was not popped. It's a 2-for-1 trade of flashes, so they do end up going up that one additional summoner. Poelter now put in a position where perhaps he can get something done in that 1v1 as he's been on the receiving end more often than not in this series.
You see the push now coming through for FlyQuest, or continuing, I should say, in the bot lane right here. They are doing well in the 2-on-2.
And one of the problems here for Cody-san is because they've been pushing their turret, Turtle actually got a good base timing, and Cody-san has not gotten back to base. So he's sitting at 7 minutes on this door and shield, and that means he can not really compete, and he is still having a tough time last hitting under turret because he doesn't have all the additional AD that you would expect kind of at this point in the game.
He has a lot of really negatives right here. The fact that there's still a minion lead despite having gone back to base once for Wild Turtle is already heartening, and you're right, now the laning phase was difficult, and it's even harder with the extra 25 attack damage picked up. Attempting the red buff now for Smithy on his side of the map. Of course, Moon knows the timer. He killed it himself. Finds Smithy, level 6, puts him into the wall. A little bit of time bought right there, and now it's going to be a smite fight. Both of them have wards in this brush, so it's a battle of who can hit that button at the right time. Moon puts him near-sighted, goes for the burst. He's going to get it. Nicely played using the smoke screen for that one. No chance for Smithy to land the smite. It couldn't be clicked on. Now Wild Turtle chunked down to 300 HP. Nice little shot from Cody-san. Out he goes.
This is a really good invade from FlyQuest, and it's not just about the good play from Moon. It's about the fact that Poelter had just gone back to base. He was low on mana. That means High was there first. He could react to that first. The bot lane is pushed in. Cody-san is not based either. So all these things allow Moon to be able to move up aggressively because they know if Immortals tries to contest and goes into a full fight, they will lose.
Yeah, they would, and so it was a nicely played invade by FlyQuest to get a little bit out of it, and the gold lead is 500 for the team without kills, without turrets, just simply farming better. And props them so far in this game. Ultimate's available now for everyone except the supports. And we'll see if more plays come in soon. Still that 10 minion lead for Flame, and the top lane has so far been dominated by the one who has the laning phase advantage, who has the push lead. The 1v1 lead has translated it into the win. This one has been a bit closer as far as the 1-on-1's concerned, and we'll see.
I think a lot of credit really does need to go to High, though, because Ahri is considered a relatively tough matchup for Orianna, and he has been ganked multiple times by Smithy and is still up in CS, and now on the roam, looking to set up a dive here and perhaps get first blood.
Doesn't quite get the root onto Ole, who would have secured the kill, or at least forced the flash out, still forcing him away. 300 HP. High not yet here for the dive, or not yet really making it happen, but they will kill off a ward, and they're going to stay on for this turret, and we know that Ole can no longer stay. They may keep the rest of the team around and push this down as Moon holds the mid lane wave.
And Cody-san still hasn't based. Now they're going to be probably losing first turret here. The team is roaming down, but will they be able to get down in time? And it looks like they are going to have to respect that. FlyQuest will back off, but Cody-san desperately does need to get back to base at some point and spend some of this gold because he's going to never really have any pressure in this lane until he does.
Yep, down, what is this? 14 minions right now in the bot lane phase. 2,300 gold in the inventory. The root's going to land. Here comes the knockups, all the damage they need. Nice flash over the wall by Turtle to get away from it. But now he's in a lot of danger. The flash forward pays off his first blood, but it is a trade kill. Smithy joins up for that one. FlyQuest, though, still get it. And this time, Cody-san can buy.
Yeah, finally able to buy, so thank you, Wild Turtle. There you go.
ARAM rules.
Turtle does pick up the first blood. Nicely done from him to flash forward over the Baldo. But this is why it's so scary, staying around in lane. I mean, he has no items, no way to fall, really fight back at all. And Lemonation able to land his full combo onto him. Turtle flashes over that Bard ultimate, lands the fourth shot. Looks like Smithy actually missed his Q, which perhaps would have meant that the kill would have gone over to Cody-san, which would have been preferable, but
yeah.
Either way, it is a trade kill. They do have the assist, so it's not that big of a deal gold-wise. It's just more the fact that the pressure has been going heavily to FlyQuest.
Moon sees expected knockup is still there, though. Look at the damage up on a high, getting CC'd. Shotgun to buy some time. Sends out. Here comes the flash to follow. They're going to get Smithy's passive, and High stays alive. Ole in the fight as well. High's going to stay okay for this one. Now, do they have the burst damage to get rid of the little bloblets? Moon's going to go for the ulti. Can't quite kill them all.
Oh.
Doesn't quite have the damage. Elimination, didn't land anything else himself. But now Ball says, if I hit you once, you're dead. Knocks him into his waiting arms and gets up the kill. Balls eats him alive here in this one. The bubblegum there for him. Quick root picked up, and out they go. Ball should be just fine on this one. FlyQuest get a nice kill in the jungler.
And High able to live long enough to really be able to get something done there. And now Turtle trying to bully down in this bot lane. They're trying to use his item advantage, and we do know he is now going into that Death Dance. Since he has cooked up with Caulfields, he's going to be going for that. And that will be a very strong point for him when he does finish that completion.
Sure, it's 10 CDR and 80 attack damage. It's certainly a nice item in general. The lifesteal certainly not bad. Good juke to the side to make sure Ole can't land the stun against the wall, and out he goes. Looking to trade back and forth. Sometimes you get into a weird sense where you forget your opponents have items now, but let's watch mid again.
And Smithy has been mid over and over and over, but Pobelter whiffs the charm wide there, even though it looked like High was CC'd at the time. And that charm means that High gets out, and they are actually the ones who end up giving a kill. So FlyQuest able to pick up a kill, and that's got to be so frustrating for Smithy, who I think has done a great job putting on pressure mid lane, but despite that, his mid laner is still behind and has not picked up any kills.
Yeah, I actually don't know the mid lane matchup all that well. I know I've seen Ari be the counter pick into Orianna, but I remember Perks versus Faker at MSI, and Perks had won the pre-6 really hard, and then post-6 Faker would solo kill him with like a 2-kill deficit or something. So the matchup might flip later on. I don't play it well enough to know. But now we got to fight over here. Nearsighted Charm's going to miss. They're going to find the ulti on elimination. Here comes the follow-through. Ole going to land this one. The knockup is there, and there's no way out. Elimination is gone, but a trade kill comes through thanks to his Ignite and his ultimate. So a trade of support's going down.
Not bad, trading that back, and Smithy, I think, deserves a lot of credit, though. Being everywhere, it feels like this game has put on a lot of pressure on the Zac, really showing why it is so strong, and I think he's doing a great job, but the Ari-Orianna matchup is always going to be somewhat opinion-based, too, as most matchups are. Immortals trying to set up a dive here onto Turtle.
He's got to be so dead. Flame pulling aggro, and actually there's not enough threat left, so he's going to stay alive. Doesn't even need the Death's Dances, lands the crit, and a couple more shots will kill him off. Here comes Balls to turn it in. And a knockback onto Flame against the wall. 2-0 so far. Pobelter just charms and runs, and it's looking like everything for FlyQuest. More burst comes through. A quick trade kill comes across, but it's going to be 4 picked up for just the one. Ole can only sit here and watch his teammates have all died in front of him, and that is a great team fight win for FlyQuest.
Everything goes so bad there, as they didn't have a minion wave, and Flame took so many turret shots before Smithy even got in. They're going to lose 2 turrets off this, 4 kills, and FlyQuest are going to be insanely ahead.
Oh my gosh, they really are. 4,000 gold up right now. Mid lane, first turret gold, solo to high, everything going their way here.
And look at this. Flame already had aggro. The minions. So he walks in, he takes 3 or 4 turret shots before even getting a hit, which he never even accomplishes onto Turtle. The whole dive goes wrong off of that. Balls with a good TP. Pobelter is here too, but there's nothing left. I mean, Cody-san didn't have really much HP or mana to try to fight back, and Immortals really executed that dive so poorly.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. And of course, the bot lane went down afterwards. There was the turret corpse. Thank you, Observer. And that was, of course, with 3 people alive in the bot lane. How do you do anything but knock that one down? So FlyQuest, the gold lead now 4,500. Walter seeing, wow, that is a really healthy turret mid lane. I wish mine was like that, but yeah, that's where the laning phase went.
And High has just put on a lot of pressure. Both games on Orianna, he gets the first turret gold for himself, and really doing a good job. And you know, the matchup, it's tough because obviously things are going to differ in pro play, and different players are going to be more comfortable in those matchups from time to time. But I do know that statistically, Ari is supposed to be one of the best, if not the best matchups into Orianna. It's hard to tell where you get all those advantages, but you can set up a dive here onto Balls.
Here comes the CC chain. Smithy not even bothering with the ultimate just yet. Finally bounces them back in towards the team, and suddenly the waiting arms are there, and Ari picks it up. 9 tails, and hoping to get as many kills at some point in this game. 4-7, and bot lane turret now attacking the 3v0, but FlyQuest still aggressive elsewhere. Yes, Balls might die, but top lane out is going to fall.
And FlyQuest could try to go to the Rift Herald. They're also pushing tier 2 mid. This is getting chunked down. I think that Moon is going to start up that Rift Herald, and they're just getting so much. And it was...
Oh, he's getting cut off by flame flashes, and despite everything else, okay, he gets away, has to, get the Banshee's Veil popped and cleanses away the Renekton stun, and out they go. Moon gonna be able to solo this Rift Herald, no problem, and looks like Ori, Jhin, and the rest of the crew gonna push top lane through to a bit.
Yeah, they're getting even more damage down on the turrets, and FlyQuest has just been moving around the map very, very well, pressuring the turrets so effectively, and as a result, they have a pretty insane gold lead for this time in the game, and with that Rift Herald getting picked up, you can expect at least one more turret probably going to go down from that, so that means even more turrets should fall. FlyQuest even farming out the jungle and perhaps looking to set up onto Flame, who they did spot.
Big ground for this one. There's a slow onto Flame. He does not have flash. He's rooted in place. Shockwave, the knockup's going to follow as well, and there's no way out. Moon gets the kill picked up. 2, 1, and 3 on him, stacking up more damage here. Just advantage to FlyQuest.
Yeah, really well done. And Balls now can move mid lane. He's going to be able to hold that turret, so there's no counter pressure happening. But Cody's looking for some kills.
High's 2 shots away from dead. One more auto. There's the one in for Cody's son, forcing the flash of elimination. Now Wild Turtle part of the fight, but Cody's son might win the fight. But look at the flash forward. Wild Turtle picks that one up. Now he's forced to kite because the autos are there. The ult's going to land. A shutdown for Cody's son, and Turtle always getting himself killed off the trades. Elimination going to fall as well. So suddenly several pickups now for Immortals. 3-2. I guess you can consider it off that one. Small advantage to Immortals.
What is Turtle doing with that? I mean, he walks through the Kog'Maw to flash on a Bard and try to give the kill. Like, yeah, sure, you got the kill, but you gave over a shutdown to Cody's son, and now you have kind of allowed them to get a little bit back into this game. They're still going to get the turret pick up, but Immortals had no business winning that sort of fight, or at least getting as much as they did off of it. And the catch is really nice here from Olay. A little bit of lazy recalls. They do get kind of caught out. Once the one goes down, though, you can kind of retreat here. But look at Turtle. He's walking through the Kog'Maw, flashes with the 4-shot past him to pick up a kill, but you're always going to go down in that situation afterwards because you have to reload after the 4th shot, and you can't really return any damage.
Yeah, so rough stuff there, and maybe some mistakes, but it's still a 3,000 gold game. Lead for FlyQuest, but certainly within reach on both sides. We'll see what comes in next.
Yeah, they are still up a fair bit, obviously, but they were up almost 5,000 gold and should have been up even more with the Rift Herald that they had just picked up, right? So you've allowed these guys to get back in, and they have an extremely strong scaling comp. Ari scales very well. I think that Zac scales incredibly well. So does Kog'Maw. Like, this is a scary team to be going late game against. Not that FlyQuest do not have their ability to win late game fights. They certainly do, and they have a great comp for themselves, but this went from an almost guaranteed win to something that is a little bit in their favor. Yeah,
it's much more contentious here on this one, absolutely. Infinity Edge is going to be next up for Wild Turtle. I'm expecting Hurricane to come through for Cody's son, so that's going to continue on forward. Blade of the Rune King nerf's not changing much in these builds. We are seeing more and more Blade of the Rune King come through for champions like Graves. For those who don't know how his on-hits work, basically you can apply an on-hit once per target with the buckshot, so you can get 4 Rune King triggers if you hit everything once, but we'll see what comes through. Looking for the dive on towards Balls. No stun just yet, but they can at least get the slow, and they force the flash out of the Gragas. Top lane tier 2 should fall, but FlyQuest pushing in mid.
Yeah, and FlyQuest are just going to go for the inhibitor turret. There's no wave clear here. Yes, Immortals are running back, but they are going to be very late to this. The inhibitor turret at least will fall. We'll see if FlyQuest can actually get anything more than that.
There's going to be plenty of damage with the inhibitor turret going to fall. A quick root on a flame force, going to flash away, defending a turret 1v4. They had no business sitting around, but look at this. Tempered Fate only gets rid of the High Banshee's Veil, but High is out of mana. This is not an easy fight. High is going to use the Q, and now he can't cast a single spell anymore. There is basically not an Orianna. It's Moon getting slowed down. They're getting a lot of damage there. There's the Charm picked up, and both are getting himself just shut down by 1v4ing into a Zyra root and kills himself with flash up and his ult over the wall.
Such a good route by Elimination as immediately as he goes over the wall, and that's kind of reminiscent of the last game, him diving forward on the Ahri into Talon's Zed in game 1, actually, where he just kills himself off, rather High's Talon, not Talon's Zed.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, though.
But, I mean, they were trying to make something happen off of that, but Pobelter went too fast. You need to slow play that. You could have actually slow played that fight, as Bard is going to land the slows with the Meeps and eventually should be able to stun someone up, and Cody's son catches up. Then Pobelter can go in and really look to get something done, but Immortals get a little bit too hasty and do get punished for that.
They did. Smithy jumps right into the Baron pit, takes a couple hundred damage, but doesn't mean too much. I like this. If you hit the Q onto Baron, you will CC and actually stun up the Rift Herald, or not Rift Herald, sorry, the Rift Scuttler. If you Q auto it, it won't get stunned, so this actually shreds the armor and you feel a little bit faster. So technically, mechanically correct by Xmithy to kill it faster.
You actually do kill it a lot faster because it reduces a massive amount of the armor
Yeah, it goes
and
from
MR.
60 armor MR to 10 armor MR. And while it's stunned, it takes like 20% bonus damage or something like that.
Yep, so it's quite nice and always good to try to CC up the Scuttler before you do take it down if you can do that on your jungle champions. It'll increase your clear speed quite a bit, especially as it gets later into the game. It has a lot of HP.
Absolutely. And we're going to see that mid lane just being controlled right now by Cody Sun, getting his farm on, and he is close to Hurricane. He's probably about 700 from the combined, and he's going to hope he can get enough money for the next team fight to have that happen. It looks like FlyQuest, though, looking to play around Baron control, at least around the blue buff. Of course, with Smithy killing the Rift Scuttle, there's not a lot of chance to steal Baron, but they can steal a blue, and that feels good too. Moon's got it. They get away from the Tempered Fate. High still in the wings as well. This time with a blue buff, feels safe and has mana pools.
Nice sidesteps there from FlyQuest, avoiding the Bard ult. And Ole has not really been able to find many good ones this game.
Yeah, you're right.
He traditionally is really strong on that, but Flame is behind Moon, and he has spotted him. Cody Sun's coming over. They don't know that the Renekton is there.
The Oriana's around, though. It's a 2-on-2, and they're not going to pull the trigger just yet. But here comes the Smithy on the rings. Ult pop. Flame can dash in. Going to find the stun, but the Root's going to buy some time. Wild Turtle saving his teammate's life by keeping Smithy away. And Elimination now stuck on the front side. This one has to flash the wall, so he gets a big chunk of health gone, down to 500 HP.
Lemon has actually played this game very well, I think, hitting multiple important roots, the trade kill in the bot lane, the first blood on Cody Sun, the root on Pobelter as he dashes in, and then that root on Smithy, which saved perhaps an initiation which would have resulted in a losing fight.
Absolutely the case. So a quick Cloud Drink pick up there, not even a sweat right now for FlyQuest. On top of the ward, doesn't matter. Moon does use the smite to make sure there's no steals over the wall, but that is securely his right now, and it's now one trade apiece. Mountain for Immortals, Cloud for Fly. And we'll see as the reset comes through this game back to 4,500, so they have eked this advantage back in. Almost the lead they had earlier on in this game before they had some mistakes in the top lane.
And that can definitely happen. I mean, even at the highest level, the pros sometimes do throw games, and that is why it's important to actually practice from playing from behind, you know, for these teams, to not just kind of cancel out of scrims and stuff, as sometimes people do talk about.
Yeah.
You know, playing out these games, finding what is the highest percentage play that you can make, even if it's, you know, 5% play or whatever, you still have to learn the best way to play out every single one of these games, no matter what the situation is.
The case here. So Immortals back into the river. Scuttler has returned to the earth for now. She'll come back up eventually, and they can once again kill her for vision. Sometimes it'll reincarnate. We'll wait to see. I actually wonder, is it a lineage of Rift Scuttlers, or is there like, just does it revive? Actually, we gotta wait for this one because Balto's getting pushed around. Flame wants to find the flash stun. No flash up just yet. Let's bounce. Brings one across the way. Ball's still very tanky though, and it's 50 forced out. Temper Fate finds
Lemon
two.
caught. Pobelter here now.
The stun. They get a slow. They do get the stun. Here comes the charm on in. Tanked up though by Gragas to keep him alive, so Ball's making that happen okay. More sites coming through. Not enough though for Cody Sun to get the reach. Elimination gonna go away, and everyone survives.
And really well done there by Ball stepping forward, eating the charm. Immortals are threatening the turret, but one of the problems for Immortals right now is Smithy has not been able to find as much farm as he would like. He's nearly 2 levels behind Moon, and part of that is because of the great job from FlyQuest of moving in and taking down these camps, stealing them away as much as possible. You really do want to pick up a lot of farm on Zac because he does have very strong scaling. He becomes ridiculously tanky and actually has quite a bit of damage based on how much HP he has. So something you're looking for.
Absolutely. See what comes through next for this one. Ball's going to clear away the bot lane for now. 4,000 gold still. Remaining his difference here is he's just catching up what he can, but he is down about 40 farm underneath Flame right there. Again, the advantageous matchup you expect from the Renekton. Gragas was picked early on. Flame got what's essentially considered a counter pick here in this point with the Renekton to push him around. And so far it's been decent for the laning phase. The team fights, though, have been going Ball's way. He's 2-1-2. Much better scoreline there.
This is really the third time in 3 games I think Balls has done a very good job. Yeah. Even in their loss in the J4 game, he moved around the map.
He's the best player.
I think outplayed Flame pretty well. In the Kennen game, he ended up being massively ahead of Flame, and now again, despite a CS disadvantage, he's been moving around well with the team and finding plays, finding advantages, even if it's outside of lane.
Absolutely agree. Items continue to push forward for all these players. Death Cap done for Pobelter is a big source of power. And the components of that coming in soon for High. Hurricane done for Cody Sun means team fight power against the frontliners, as few as they are. And we'll see as FlyQuest hoping to play around this Baron pit, but they have not killed off that one ward on the river. They know it's there, they've hit it twice, but that one's not dead, so there's still vision for Immortals. 4,000 gold still separating them as Mid lane priority briefly was gained by Immortals as they push in the wave. Then FlyQuest kills it back off, and the red squad continues to knock down these wards and try to play for this river vision.
And Immortals' answer has been to try to push up mid, but they have not really been able to be super effective with that because there's a lot of wave there, but they do catch Turtle. We'll see if they can get him.
And here comes Zach. There's a knockup. Let's bounce on it too. They bring him right forward and right into Pobo's waiting arms. 1 kill off on a Wild Turtle already. And Balls is tanky, but he's still going to have to run back under his turret now. On this one, 5v4 Magical Journey. Ole finds Moon. Does get a big slow from the Meeps. And here comes Zach for the 3-man knockup. Xmithy going to find the Q. Now Kiss, and the kills could come in. That's 1 picked up. That's going to be 2. As high is going to fall as well. It's a 5v2 on the map. Immortals got just the fight they needed.
They find the perfect initiation. Ole finally lands that big ult. Zach with the big follow-up, and now there's no jungler on the map. We'll see if Elimination can work some magic. There are some low health bars, but I don't think he can get anything done.
Flame should get this one almost for certain right there. He tries to run with the quest picked up, and there's the kill coming through. And now it's Balls. This Gragas is not a jungler. There is no smite. And instead he's forced to run back in. So 4 unanswered kills plus the Baron pick up. Immortals now in control.
And they're almost tied up in gold. You can expect them with this power play to go up, but let's see this again. It's the great setup from Ole. Finds Turtle, knocks off the Banshee's Veil from High, and High stands onto his AD carry. You have to know the Zach is coming there. They both get CC'd up, 2 get pulled in. Turtle goes down immediately, and Moon actually jumped forward on Cody-san to try to push him back, chunk him out, but without the assistance of his team, couldn't take him down. And then another great stun from Smithy, who has been so good this game. They got slowed down by Ole. He follows up, 3-man knockup, gets all the kills, clean up the Baron, and they're going to pick up the gold lead here.
Yeah, some really big plays right there out of Immortals. There's not enough ways to tank all the CEC. You can walk in for a charm, but it means that the Cosmic Binding lands on you regardless. You're kind of damned if you do and if you don't. Balls end up delivering Cosmic Binding onto the back line there regardless. And now mid lane under fire. And that should be turret number 4, but at first gets cleared away by High. So FlyQuest still actually 100 gold ahead. And if they could withstand this Baron buff, they're back on equal footing, but it is certainly a much closer game than before.
Yeah, this mid turret is almost certainly going down because someone will have to go answer Renekton in his side lane. They're pushing that in. Pobelzer's going to push in the bot lane, so they're going to have both side lanes working in their favor. This is a one-hit mid lane turret, so you're going to see them pick it up right now.
It's not going to take much. Rageblade third for Cody's son. Great damage going to come out of him when he gets the combined cost there. So this Kog'Maw will continue to scale up for a while, and until he goes for tank stats, he's going to keep doing a ton in team fights here.
Mortals do need to be a little bit careful, though, as Pobelzer's away from the team. He should honestly just keep pushing for this turret, and the 4-man squad should play safely, because there's not really much initiation outside of Balls, who doesn't have his flash, and he's bot lane, so the 4-man squad is very safe. Yep. Pobelzer can pick this up for free, and then they can look to rotate back to mid, control vision in this side of the jungle, and see what else they can get done.
Finds some crowd control. They almost got the charm out of Bolter as well, but it was a body slam back. There's a flash out from Xmithy to not get knocked into the team. Let's Bounce brings him in. They kidnap the Gragas, and Balls is going to get flattened right there. They stop, but he's going to go home for a little while after that. 5v4 on the map yet again. Immortals can do no wrong for the last few minutes.
Yeah, they're playing very well. What looks like it could be a little bit of a good engage for FlyQuest because Cody-san wasn't there. Turns bad anyway as the Zack's able to kidnap the tank. They're going to get tier 2 bot. They're going to get it mid here as well. The gold lead is starting to balloon a little bit. This has been such a big swing for Immortals.
It's absolutely huge. This is a playground for giants. A huge swing in this one, and Immortals looking to grab even more. The Mountain Drake is spawn number 2 for them. Means even more objective securing as Cody-san can solo this with no problem.
Yeah, and Cody-san with that W, double Mountain Dragons, is going to be able to shred turrets pretty quickly. If it comes to another Baron, they're going to be able to burn that down ridiculously fast here too. So even more pressure being put on FlyQuest as they've dug themselves a bit of a hole after being out to a massive early game lead.
We'll see if they can find themselves out of it, but it just feels like almost every game FlyQuest have played this season. Ooh, we've got this 5,000 gold lead. Feels pretty good. Wait, what happened to us? We lost team fights, and it's now more often than not that's what happens as opposed to closing the game out. Late game worries certainly are here for FlyQuest. Not been able to navigate.
Oh, Lemon gonna get caught now.
Oh, this is bad for him. The charm not quite gonna land, but the damage is there regardless. The flash meant nothing for Walter. Did burn his ignite to make sure it all went well, but either way, more advantages for Immortals.
Ari almost doesn't have to hit a single skill shot on Zyra, who is just so squishy. When you have Death Cap, you have Void Staff. Like, this is a very strong Ari. You can accidentally kill off Zyra in team fights at this point.
Absolutely the case. Even though Locket has come through now for elimination, I believe it got combined just afterwards, as he didn't use it to save himself. tries to keep his team alive, but it's just such a difficult road for him. Here comes the disable on the turret, and a shockwave to get the wave clear, and they're going to buy some more time here on the FlyQuest side.
Side lanes again, though, are pushing. Immortals shoving that up, and people talked a lot about how Turtle's style would work very well with FlyQuest because he's super aggressive. FlyQuest is known for being super aggressive also, but inversely, I always felt Altec was more of like kind of that measured player, more of the one guy who was kind of playing it a little bit more safely, farming it out, not always doing the crazy stuff. And at times, Turtle's aggressive nature has hurt them. In this game, flashing past Cody Sun to try to kill Olay. Earlier in the series as well, he's willing to, trade his summoner and his life for a support kill. That has happened multiple times this series, and they have been punished very heavily for it. So sometimes on this aggressive team, you do need to have someone who's going to rein you back in, someone who's going to be that kind of stopgap and say, hey guys, no, that's too far.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. So far, it hasn't been the right look for FlyQuest. So many almost wins, but you're right, it just hasn't clicked right now for them, and there's still more to be played. It's, of course, a 9-week regular split. We know this team can be very good. Maybe they can reverse sweep the season. But you're right, it is FlyQuest looking a bit down, about to be 0-3 in matches. Continuing the trend of our top 4 doing very poorly in the beginning of the summer split. Immortals, though, looking to improve to 3-1, which I believe would put them temporarily alone in second. I don't believe there are any other 3-1 teams, and only one that's 3-0. Either way, they're going to push forward. 5,000 gold up. Immortals looking to close this one out in a very close series. It's one that's required a lot of them. But now they are in a commanding lead, and based on how the shot calling has gone for both these teams in the late game, you expect Immortals to make it happen.
Yeah, you really do, as Immortals has looked like they have really known how to play out the late game. Full side lane control. They're playing passively with the vulnerable squad, but now Cody's not getting caught out.
Knockups there. Not going to get a lot of damage out of Moon. The rest of the team can't engage just yet. The locket out of Elimination. The charm is in, and accidentally, oops, he's gone. Poetzer picks him up. Redemption there for the heal, and even when they get a long duration route on the marksman, it doesn't even matter. And now Smitty going to find 2 more. Let's bounce, baby. Finds 2 more. The kill's coming through thick and fast, and it's going to be all over. There's nothing else to do. It's Wild Turtle alive, and as the team Tokyo drifts onto the bottom side of this one, we're going to look for 4 kills. There's Wild Turtle. 1v1 with Smithy. Hello, buddy. Here's a bit of a route. He's going to maybe get split in a bloblets, and it doesn't really matter too much anymore. Turret's under fire. Smithy still has aggro. And the 30-second respawn at this point. 5v1 inside the base. Inhibitor going to fall next up, and there is enough of a minion wave. This should be GG if they can block the shots.
Yeah, it really should. Double Mountain Drake here to really shred down those turrets. Cody Sun's going to take it out so fast, and they are going to go for the end here, but they're kind of really starting to waffle. I guess they're getting a little bit nervous. Let's see.
Further than back, split on the Blobbus. There he's done. He trades his life for Zach's passive. The ace comes through for Cody Sun, and this is going to be GG. Immortals going to close out their week with a match victory over FlyQuest, 3-1, putting them in second place to end the Saturday. GG to Immortals.
Guess Turtle just thought that it was pretty much already over, that they couldn't actually fight it out, but flashing forward into 5. It goes down, and Immortals able to take that series. Really strong initiations, and I think really strong play from Smithy. And you see exactly why this champion has always been. I mean, the amount of work he got done throughout the whole game was very impressive. Constantly ganking mid lane, getting a lot of pressure there for his mid laner, even though it didn't result in too much, and then finding so many good initiations in the mid game fights, in the late game fights. But Immortals, they shouldn't have been able to really win this game, you have to feel like. FlyQuest had such a good early advantage, and it felt like they overstepped top lane and really threw it away.
And the hugs all around. Everyone's talking like, you know what, you come in here as well. Let's embrace. Let's go for this one.
I always find it kind of funny when it's like the first player in the high 5 line hugs, and the others are like, "Oh, do I have to? Oh, we're hugging now. Okay, I guess we're hugging."
Like, are we close friends too? Like, do I know you as well as Turtle knows this guy? Okay, I guess I'm up next. Sure, why not for this one? And Balls, Manny Scream right there, has had, I think, a very good split. I think he played well in this match. In Game 3, he was maybe less impactful. He was kind of running around, surviving a bad matchup, but had looked very good in some of the other ones. And oh well, sorry for FlyQuest.
Even in Game 3, I actually thought Balls had a lot of good moments.
He did.
And, despite being down some CS, he had more kills, he had more assists and stuff, earlier in the game, and I thought he had been doing very well for himself. And unfortunate for Balls that it's going to be overshadowed by their poor start. They're now 0-3.
Yeah.
They have not really been able to make it work, and it just feels like in each one of these losses, they are firmly in control, and then they just go a step too far. They overreach. They try to make a big play happen when they don't necessarily need to. And Immortals demonstrated clean, calm play for the most part, and were able to kind of just slowly win these games.
Yeah, not perfection by any means, but still good enough play from them, and they were able to receive a lot of the mistakes coming out of FlyQuest and turn them around properly. So you got to give props to them for that one. And yeah, it's so weird. It's like FlyQuest are like Spring Split Team Envy, where it's like, wow, they do so well for the first 20 minutes. You imagine if they just could close the game. If you just like took 25 minutes and said, okay, gold lead wins, this team would be maybe 3-1 in matches right now. Even though they've only played 3, they'd somehow have 4 match victories. You got to go with me on this one at this point. But they have routinely made some kind of major blunder to give away the team fight. And this one wasn't as much as like, ooh, their team fight sucks. Like, they have to go for these hard dives and like, ooh, the comp is riskier than over in game 1. This one is like, okay, sure, you don't really have a crit marksman. You're running Jhin, not Cog, but like, you have every opportunity to use Graves, Ori, and Zyra Burst to make things happen. That never went down.
And Cog was insanely behind. Like, he was super
They
behind.
blasted bot
He got
lane.
first blooded. He was never able to get, a bot lane base. They struggled to last early under the turret, for Immortals. So like, they had a huge lead, and you should have been able to really push that pace. But because of that top lane blunder, because of everything that kind of went wrong up there, and no, it wasn't just about Turtle. It was about the whole team sticking around and choosing in that fight. And we don't know whose call it was to go for that fight. But regardless, they gifted over so much free gold and pressure back to Immortals when they had been getting shoved in everywhere. They've been losing turrets left and right. They were down in CS almost across the board.
Yeah, well, it was a battering towards Immortals, but they came through in the end and got the comeback victory. So now to hear a little bit more about that series, let's send it down to Captain Flowers and the victorious bot laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm here with Cody Sun. They just got done claiming victory in that series. And the first thing I want to ask, games 1 and 3, the games that you guys walked away with the victories in, they were come from behind victories. Talk to me a little bit about what was happening in the comms, what was happening with the team to keep your heads on straight, make sure you stayed calm, and were able to come back and find those wins.
Yeah, I mean, usually when like things go sour and we're like pretty behind, usually we just try to listen to Jake, and he just leads us to trying to find like opponents' mistakes, whether it's in rotations or looking for picks when they're trying to get vision. Yeah, usually we just try to listen to Jake, and that's been working well for us.
Putting the faith in the calls to make the plays happen. Now, speaking of making plays happen, we have seen more and more plays, more and more improvement, specifically out of you and your lane partner, Olay, ever since Spring Split started. What about you two together as a duo? What have you done to see this improvement and facilitate yourselves growing further and further as LCS competitors?
I mean, last play, usually we just like try to look over our mistakes after each game. We weren't like the best, obviously, in the beginning, but we just slowly improved. And right now we're like pretty confident as a bot duo, and we're not really scared of anyone.
That's fantastic to hear. You guys are definitely looking like a force to be reckoned with down there. Now, one more question. After 2 weeks of play now, 4 series, Immortals is sitting on a record of 3-1. How is the team feeling as a whole, and what's the plan to continue winning as we go forward?
Even though our record is not like that bad, these games, like these past 3 games were pretty tilting for me and pretty tilting for Ole too. Like, I feel like we still have a lot of ways to go as a team, and we can still be like a lot better as a team, and we still have a lot to work on. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna go back and try harder to just improve every week as a team.
Eyes on victory, but still humble and always looking to get better. That's how you know that you've got a championship attitude. Thank you very much, my friend. Best of luck to you guys in the coming weeks of competition. And now we're going to throw things over to the analysts one last time to close out the day. Take it away, guys.
The sad thing for FlyQuest joining TL now at 0-3. Still have another match to play this week, but things not looking too good. A lot of just general mistakes of over-aggression and kind of giving up kills. It's been something that's been plaguing them all the way if you go back to last split, but at the very least, they were getting much better early games. This time around, once again, they have these really aggressive compositions, and they go in, and then if they ever make one mistake, it feels like they're not capable of playing from behind.
Exactly. There were a few fights that the Zach, which in Champions like made it through, got first pick by Xmithy. We know he's good at these types of junglers, and he's been more and more of a playmaker this split. And a lot of the members of Immortals have been kind of vocal about the fact that Xmithy can identify and go for those plays. This is a perfect champion for him right now in the meta. and it was pretty ridiculous. I feel like Xmithie, during the mid-game, had a kind of a clinic on how to turn a game around to Zach with the setup that he was able to provide. They got flashes from Wild Turtle, and then he's able to just bring in the carries.
And I jumped ahead of myself, welcoming NALCS 1 over, so welcome again. Thank you for joining us. We're going over the FlyQuest game now. As we jump right into the replay, 13 minutes in. Yeah, the Immortals game, I should say. As they come over, Immortals with the victory here over FlyQuest, and things start here. Immortals going for quite a clean dive in the bot side.
We talk about how sometimes we saw FlyQuest getting over-aggressive. Immortals were no stranger to that as well. They see Xmithie come in early. They realize the teleport's behind them, so they try and turn back. Pobelter's coming in the backside right now. He has to run through the turret. They blow up the Renekton, who was pretty low health from the dive, failing already. And it's just a chase down onto Pobelter. And Cody Sun walking forward, thinking he can maybe get a cleanup kill. He gets it, but he's going to give his life up as well to pick that up.
Yeah, this was just kind of a fiasco. This is where we're getting ready for, the party hats.
FlyQuest first win.
Exactly. Is this going to keep going? And then it just really stalled out, and Immortals got multiple fights that just started to go their way later on.
It really did. These consecutively go. 17 minutes now, just a little bit later. A 3-for-1 in the top lane. Usually these are 1-for-1, 2-for-1s, but multiple people going down each time.
Yeah, this time around, we talk about the over-aggression. They get the nice kill onto Flame, but now they're extended in the long lane.
They look good, right?
Yeah, they look all right. They're trying to recall out of here. You see one person back. Now they're starting to do the other people. The empowered recall getting them back a little bit earlier, and now Ole sees them and says, aha, I'm going to stop this recall. And a good collapse here by the rest of Immortals. Cody Sun flashes over the wall, makes sure to finish off high. Nice move by Ole to keep himself alive here. Turtle does flash in for the kill, but obviously that puts him in range of Cody Sun to get the follow-up, and now Lemonation caught off by himself with Pobelter flanking.
Exactly. Right there, it's like, could Wild Turtle have actually just gone for more shots on the Cody Sun? It's unsure, because he did have Jet Stance at that point, so he was going to bleed a lot of that damage anyway.
Absolutely. So we can already see the skirmish is coming to be just 8 minutes later. 25-30 Immortals, 3-for-0, mid to Baron.
This was the big one. Wild Turtle doesn't have flash, and then the Bard ulti hits him. Immediately, Zac hits him. Ultimate comes through. Cleanse flash has to come through from high to avoid this. Because look at that. Xmithie just delivers Wild Turtle to his team. Let's bounce right into death. And then I love this as well. Just that long range, able to get 3 with the knock up there. And
get bubble gum in your hair.
It's a nightmare. But that was a great play by Xmithie, and you get to see why Zac is just banned all the time. Even if he falls behind a little bit early on, he has so much team fight presence with his passive, with his multiple forms of CC and initiation, and as well as having respectable damage numbers. So
the 2 games I've seen him in this split, he has crushed so far. The other ones that maybe have not casted or caught so far in the NALCS, but so far the 2 have seen him in. This being one, it's been pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, there's that Lyra game where they lost with it, but he still had some monster team fights, had a format ultimate.
There were some
you see the potential of it.
I was like, this game's over. He just got a format. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But it looked cool. It looked cool.
It happens. It's the ults we all wish we could have at times. Player of the game going to Xmithie on this one. Great engages as we saw, great gank pressure, and huge ults in the late game. Xmithie has just been, as we said before, the acquisition that really Immortals was looking for.
We mentioned it a bunch of times already over the course of this series. Brings a different style than Dardoch. The team plays a little bit more controlled. Well, maybe not quite as much this series, but last week a little bit more controlled. This time, very scrappy series overall, but able to come up huge at the end of the game, getting those critical team fight engages. Yeah,
and it's funny because like Xmithie is shining on a team that has Ole, who's been a playmaker on it. They have Flame, who could be a carry top. They have Pobelter. And they also have Cody Sun, who was coming off of his rookie split, now in his sophomore split, and he looked better and better. But Xmithie's picked up multiple player of the games. He picked up both today in the Immortals victories. So this guy is really just shining a lot more than he had in the past in almost all of his CLG splits.
Looking to repeat a little bit of history for Immortals there. So earlier today, we asked you, which playmaking support do you want to see in the NALCS and why? Here is what some of you think. At Galio Support said, had his dream come true, or he had his dream come true as Gate showed off the Colossus in the bot lane. He said he has a great skill set to poke the enemy lane and is very effective against AP supports. Also, he protects the ADC. Feels good for ADCs.
I wonder if that guy has an OG Galio support, like pre-rework.
Oh, yeah.
Old Galio with the speed up.
The Resolute Smite, Righteous Gust.
Yeah.
That's a good skill set.
Yeah, like old Galio support definitely sucked because it had mana problems all the time. And now I think it still kind of sucks because it has mana problems. So
all right.
I feel like you shore that up.
Downer over here.
Well, also, like,
it won.
You can't really take like a the Spell Thief's Edge anymore either. Like, we reduced how much mana per 5 you get on that. And then also, you throw out your Q, you only get 1 tick of it every time. So you're spending like 80 mana for 1 tick of it to actually go off and give you gold back. So it takes forever to get that. It's just like, I don't think it's very good.
Don't listen to Zion, all right? Believe in your Galio support.
I don't think Galio support's good.
Gabe believed in it.
I think that Galio is good, so he could be played support. I just don't think it's even close to optimal.
All right, next to you, let's see what the people have to say at Dragos Kritku.
Oh, nice.
Something like that. Said, I'd really like to see Leona or Blitz more because once they get to make a play, a kill is secured. This way, it's less boring, so flash hook. I like that. Less boring is fantastic.
Always want Leona to come back in the meta. It is more difficult than, let's say, the Blitzcrank, like you mentioned, because you can always fish from hooks from a relatively safe range, whereas Leona, to be effective, really, really needs to commit. She goes all in. She is no escape, and you have your ultimate, which I guess is like slightly more range, but it's still a much longer cooldown than the hook. So if you're looking for less committed engage, you still have to spend more resources to do it.
Yeah, could be paired well with a Galio if you land an E.
Going double melee bot lane?
Yeah. No, it's Galio support. Just throw it again.
Yeah.
I was like, not from support. I already knocked that already today.
All right, one more tweet. Then, at Dreamwalkers wants to see the Rakan all day. Never get sick of seeing those clean flash engages. We got some from Aframu, some from Biofrost today. Smoothie had a fantastic one yesterday. It has been crazy.
And he said he wanted to see it all day. We did see it all day.
We did see it all day.
Picked all 3 games in the TL series, picked multiple times in pretty much every series here. And the champion is just pretty disgusting in terms of how far away his range is for engaging. And even if he screws it up, he's not like Leona where you flail. You're just like, oh, I just E right back out. All right.
That said, he isn't, I would say, overpowered based off what we've seen. He does have some stuff that can feel a little broken at points where you have the instant charm and to knock up. But if you're not comboing that with other abilities well, then they just land and they're fine because he's not like he's bringing a ton of damage. So you do have to coordinate with him well. And he does have a slightly weak laning phase. It's not like he's completely crazy, which is why it's nice to see him because you have to appreciate the skill it still takes to play.
Requires a lot of teamwork, too, because they can leave you out to dry just by walking away. You don't have an out to the fight. So with our matches in the books, let's see how the standings have shifted. CLG and Team Dignitas maintain a 3-0 record, tied at first, while Echo Fox drops to 5th and TSM to 6th place. We'll see what teams can end their weekend on a high note with our games tomorrow. The day begins with Echo Fox and Cloud9 taking the stage on NALCS 1, and then the Battle Arena hosts El Clasico matchup, Chronologic Gaming versus TSM. Over on NALCS 2, Team Dignitas tried to end their week at 4-0 against Team Liquid, with a rematch of Spring Split's 3rd place match, Phoenix 1 versus FlyQuest, at the end of the day. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, you know what time it is. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more North American LCS. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah,
good night.
Good night.
Good night. Echo Fox entering the building, looking to extend their 2-0 start. Today, they will be facing off against CLG, who's planning on doing a little bit of the exact same thing.
CLG trying to end the game. Frogger getting it left on. Taken down by Donovan, gets himself a quadra kill.
Whoa. Let's go.
And who he almost. He gets kicked. The Cuban is great. Warthog's over here as entrance. Flash auto attack. He's going to get it. We're going to clean up on the other side, but they still have the jungler. Baron goes to Donovan, who steals it somehow. I have no idea how that happened, but CLG is starting to clean up. There's the ult from Donovan. Haunter still they're kicking it out. They're kicking it out. Cuts them off. TSM will rout Dignitas.
You just gotta be swagged out there. You're just not swagged out enough. If you win this set though, you'll be semi-swagged out enough.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'll buy you a hoodie.
You're buying me a hoodie?
I'll buy you a $140 hoodie.
And Someday has made his entrance. Haunter's gonna be cut down next. Someday on this Fiora has his late game. He's got the triple kill, and TSM will fall. Seraph gets grounded, but Pyrian cuts them all off, and Piglet almost dies in an instant. Lyra does finally get the kill. Seraph lands the dunk and takes down Piglet, and Pyrian might be all of they need here. Apollo forward on the Golden Glue evaporates him as well. There's the next kill. He's actually grabbed the double. That's going to be the triple kill, I believe. Apollo might end it with a real big finish. The back line. He could die. They're trying to get the pick up. There's the root, and here's the revive. They're going to pick off that one, no problem. The bot lane kill comes in, and now Cody said, once one Turtle flashes the arrow. But does he have the damage? Turtle's got to get away from the roots. He's continuing to flash the kite away. Storm
Bomb's not going to land, but finally gets the last little bit of damage. Doesn't even matter. And now Katie going to find 2 more. Let's bounce, baby. Finds 2 more. The kill's coming through thick and fast, and it's going to be all over. Immortals going to close out their week with a match victory over FlyQuest, 3-1.